Hi, I'm Chad Kopotic, Quality Control Manager here at Deering Banjo Company. Today we're going to be discussing how to change the strings on both the concert and tenor ukuleles. When we're looking at when we need to change our strings, a couple things to look for. One, it's more of a listen for it, whether or not each note is still bright and crisp. If you start to notice the notes start to kind of fade away and become dull, it's a good time to change them. Another way too on nylon strings is to run your finger up and down them. If you feel any dents or divots in the string itself, that means it's starting to get fretted and stretched out. So it's a good time to change it if the strings feel a little less than smooth. Once you do change the strings, all that brightness and life will come back to your playing. You'll need several tools to be able to change the strings on your ukulele. First thing is a nice set of strings. From the factory, we use the Aquila Super Nile Gut High Concert G set of strings. You also need a pair of clippers and a good string winder. When I'm changing strings, especially on a ukulele, I like to do one string at a time. So we'll start with the first string and work our way up to the fourth string. First, we need to remove the bad strings by cutting it. Remove the first string, untie it from the tuner post and the tailpiece, and throw it away. Then we'll unpackage our new set of strings. I like to unwind them and lay them out nicely so that they're easier to find while I'm changing. Then very nicely at the end of these strings, color-coded them so we know which string goes where. And the first string I'm looking for is the red string. So first, I need to tie a knot in the string that will loop over the hook on the end of the tailpiece. This is a simple overhand knot, but instead of just once, I'm going to tie it twice. Then I'll hook that and pull the string till it's nice and tight around the hook. Get it set underneath the tab on the tailpiece in the notch on the bridge, and then we're going to tie it to the tuner. You want to keep it taut. Don't pull it really tight, but just nice and taut while you're tying it to the tuner. Otherwise, you're going to be winding for a really long time and end up with a bunch of windings around your tuner. If we keep it taut and then tie a simple overhand knot, and then we hold the slack tight around the tuner post, when we start to wind it, what happens is that knot falls into the hole on the tuner and starts to tighten against itself once the wrappings start happening. And this will keep the string from constantly slipping as it tightens. It'll help keep it tighter faster and keep a better tune. Once we have it wrapped around a couple times, we'll just clip off the excess. Once I'm done with the first string, I'll move to the second. Again, we'll chop that one off. Remove it from the tailpiece, and then unwind and untie it from the tuner post. The second string is going to be the blue tip string. So again, grab that string. It's very nicely color coded. And what I'm going to do is tie that double overhand. So first, once through. Oops. And then twice through like this. Kind of get it snugged up a little bit. Get it nice and tight around that hook. Get it underneath the tab on the tailpiece, in the slot on the bridge, and then we're going to tie it to the tuner post. So first I'll slide it through. Keep it taut. And then tie it simply back underneath. And then I have a nice little overhand knot there. And again, as I bring the string around, that knot will slide into the hole on the tuner and will keep itself nice and tight as we wind it. Once we're around once, we'll clip off the excess and move to the next string. All right, the third string is going to be the green tip string. So again, we'll tie that double overhand once, twice through. I like to put the excess of the string underneath the tailpiece, just helps clean things up down here a little bit. So after we tie it to the tailpiece, we'll feed it underneath the tab through the slot, and then we'll tie it to the tuner post. So again, we'll slip it through the tuner post, keep it taut, and then tie it back underneath it. So you'll see I have a nice little overhand knot there. And as I feed it, that excess should slide right, that knot should slide right into the hole of the tuner. And then as we feed it around, it'll get itself nice and tight there and keep the slippage from happening. We'll cut off the excess and move to the next string. The last string we'll use is the all white string. I'm going to tie that double knot again, once, twice, get a little bit tight, make a small loop, put the excess underneath the tailpiece, and then tighten that thing up. And we'll feed it underneath the tab, through the bridge slot, and then we'll tie it to the tuner post. Whip the string through the hole, and keep it taut. We'll bring the excess and tie it back around the string. So we have a nice little overhand knot. Keep the slack up, and as that string comes around, you'll see the knot slide right into that hole on the tuner. And then as it feeds around, the string tightens itself against the knot, keeps that slippage from happening, so we don't have a bunch of windings around the tuner. And then we'll clip off the excess. And our next step is to tune it up and see how she plays. I like to use a tuner. I just have one on my phone. And this is where I like to really use the string winder to help get these strings up to pitch. Because they're nylon, they can stretch for a little while and until it reaches pitch. And so using the string winder saves my fingers from turning the tuner a bunch of times. We like to use standard tuning of A, E, C, G, going from 1 through 4 here. So A, E, C, and G. There, I think we got it. Now we're going to check her intonation, make sure her head's nice and tight, and she's ready to play like new. All right, to check your intonation, what we want to do is make sure that the note played on the open string is the same as the note played at the 12th fret. And for this, I like to rely on my tuner. I like to check it on the C and the A string. So we'll get that C tuned just perfect, fretted at the 12th fret. And my tuner's telling me it's a little sharp. What that means is my bridge is slid forward towards the neck a little bit. I need to lengthen that back out. So I'm going to gently slide the bridge plate and the bridge back towards the tailpiece. I want to slide both of them together, keeping that bridge as centered as possible on this bridge plate. It's really important that the bridge stay as centered as you can get it on the bridge plate, so the overall tone of the strings is even as you play across it. Once I've moved it a little bit, we want to go a little bit at a time because a little bit goes a long way with intonation. We'll tune that note back up to pitch. Check it at the 12th fret. And they should be exactly the same, at least relying on your tuner. That means I'm good on the C here. So now I'm going to move down to the A. Ooh, that one's really sharp. So we need to move this corner of the bridge down while maintaining where the note on the C is. So I'll just slide the outside edge down a little bit. So now I'll check the A. And we're right there. So now I have the intonation set beautifully. Want to again make sure that, as you can see here, my bridge is a little off center of the bridge plate. So I want to recenter this bridge plate on the bridge. So I'm going to gently slide just the bridge plate up a little bit without moving the bridge. So lift the bridge just a little bit and use your thumbs to kind of scoot that bridge plate forward so that everything lines up nice and centered. And that'll keep the tone real nice and even all the way across your strings. So we end up like this. All right, now that we've changed our strings and checked our intonation, we're ready to start playing. Remember, there's only a couple tools you need when doing this job. First is a good pair of strings from the factory. Again, we use the Aquila Super Nylget High Concert G set. A good string winder, some nice cutters, and a good tuner. All of that will help make your job go nice and smooth and bring your banjo back to life. Thanks for watching. Remember, for all things banjo, check out our website, deeringbanjos.com. Check out our other YouTube videos on how to take care of your banjo. Make sure to follow us on all our social medias at Deering Banjos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This is where I really like to use the string winder, because some of these, oh my God.